Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Unrooted Menlo College Wrestling Edition. And my guest for this week's show was none other than senior wrestler on the men's wrestling team and All-American, Javier Gonzalez. Javi, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. So as I said, you wrapped up last season with an All-American status. It was the first time in your career, and also, well, first time at Menlo, I should say. Mm-hmm. And you also got to wrestle with national champion Troy Lakin last year, yes. You two representing the Oaks. What was that experience like?
Well, I'd say it was a good experience for sure. Troy is a special athlete. He I wouldn't say he has like the craziest natural ability, but he had a good mix of natural ability, work ethic, different leadership style. He didn't really lead by talking; he led by example, and it was awesome wrestling alongside Troy.
Yeah, teams are always made up of those unique mix of characters where someone who is a bit more vocal and someone who isn't, but Troy would just get out there on the mat every single night and he would do his thing. It was fun to watch.
He was a stud.
Now, I know you like to travel, and the last time I checked from snooping around on your student bio form that you filled out when you came here, you've been to 4 different countries?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's still accurate. All right, so where's the favorite place that you've been?
It's actually 5 now.
Okay.
But, I don't really have there's some that I guess were more important, and I guess, not to sound corny, but they changed me as a person, and I definitely say my trip to Colombia was definitely my most forming, and it's definitely my favorite. But all of them were pretty awesome in one way or another.
What was it about Colombia?
I went to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I went. My mother's from Colombia as well, so it was kind of like I want to go represent where my mom's from. And
the national team, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went, and I was just in a perfect situation to succeed. Where I was living was right next to where I trained, so I'd walk there. I made friends. I moved in with this guy I knew for 2 weeks who was from Venezuela but also wrestling on the team. Mm-hmm. And we just made really good friends, and it was definitely life-changing. I got to train twice a day, live in the Caribbean, basically do whatever I wanted. It was just whoa, it was such a culture shock.
Yeah.
But it was tremendous.
How long were you there for?
Almost a year. So about 9 months maybe.
So you kind of became an expert in the culture a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Definitely of the coastal culture. Colombia's an interesting place. It's each region has its own culture. And it's very ethnically diverse. Where I was, it was a big Afro-Caribbean influence. Mm-hmm. But you go a few hours north, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different language. Almost, not the same language, but different dialect.
Yeah.
Different accents.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful country. If you guys ever get the chance to go. Wonderful.
I'd love to, for sure.
Wonderful.
Now, so you talk about you being on the Colombian national team. You've also been a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Pan-American.
So, okay, I was a Pan-American champ. Okay. So that means there's a tournament in Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's the largest tournament number-wise. And yeah, I won that tournament. That was actually my first tournament, and I won it twice. Yeah, so I was a Pan-American champion. I competed also. I've competed in a lot of big jiu-jitsu tournaments before I came to Menlo. Mm-hmm. I won the Pan Am, and then I won Worlds without the gi. So no gi Worlds. It's different than gi Worlds. And that was what I was doing before I came to Menlo. I took a year off of wrestling, and I just wanted to choke people and do fun stuff with my buds, and that's what I was doing. That was my lifestyle. What
did all of that do for your career, eventually then getting back into wrestling and becoming what you have now?
Okay, so there's a difference between, so jiu-jitsu and wrestling are pretty much the same because it's just grappling, mm-hmm. just different rule set. In jiu-jitsu you wear the jacket, the kimono, the gi, whatever you want to call it. So it's a little different, but at the end of the day, it's still the same mechanics. You just different rule set, and some little different techniques, different culture. But I think jiu-jitsu benefited my wrestling just because it's mat time, and I'm getting some type of reps. My top-bottom work in wrestling really benefited from my jiu-jitsu technique and emphasizing small, precise movements and just being tough,
Yeah.
Staying on a person and not giving them any space to breathe.
Yeah. So you were one of those rare instances where, you took some time off of the sport, but you were still participating in a variation of it, getting the reps, like you said. So when you came back, it wasn't like you missed much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's talk a little bit about the team now. The regular season is concluding this week. You guys have a home duel against San Francisco State. You see their wrestlers a lot. So what are you expecting from this duel? How do you think it's going to shape up?
Well, I mean, we're going to win.
Of course.
God willing, knock on wood. But I really respect their team. They have a good coaching staff. They have some, good wrestlers on their team. But, we're Menlo. We're the Oaks. We're here to dominate. We're led by great coaches, Coach Joey, Coach Travis, Coach Varnell. We're here to win. And I see us winning. I see myself winning. I see all my teammates winning. And that's what we're here to do.
I like the sound of that. Yeah. That doesn't sound like a bad way to wrap up the year.
Not at all.
You guys ended with a series of home duels as opposed to going tournament style. So I'll ask you, what's the difference physically and mentally from going to tournament play to dual play and then back to tournaments?
So, for me, a tournament is a marathon. And it's kind of like, any wrestler can attest to this. After a tournament, your body feels like it got hit by a truck for at least 2 days. The next day is the worst. You wake up and you're just like, ugh.
You don't want to move.
You don't want to move because when you move, it just hurts. And everything hurts. Like your toenails hurt. Like the weirdest places on your body have a bruise. Like, how'd I get that? But it's just, it's different because you're just going. And sometimes you don't eat. And, the guys that cut weight, they don't eat all the way up until I don't have to do that.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's just different. Duels are, for me, they're a little more intense because it's just a lead up to that one moment. And you got to show up. And people are there. And you got to show up. And if you don't show up, you got egg on your face. You're not looking too good. Yeah. So you got to show up.
You're only going to have 7 minutes on the mat as opposed to a tournament where, I don't know, you have 6 matches. If they go the distance, 42 minutes on the mat.
You're going to get a lot of reps in for sure.
Yeah. So it's definitely go hard right away. It's a sprint, not a marathon.
With that being said, I mean, it could end fast. If you're in a duel, you could just pin someone quick. Or you could go, you still get your match in.
Yeah.
You still get your
it's not to say that you're not going to go out there and you're going to not try to pin them, but
exactly.
It's that your approach to it is completely different.
That's true.
In a way. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The conference tournament in the Cascade Collegiate Conference is brand new this season, brand new to the Oaks. Obviously, the goal is to win it, but how will being back into a tournament play, seeing some of the best competition here on the West Coast prepare you for nationals?
I think we're in a very tough, competitive conference. We have some great teams. We have Southern Oregon. They're tough. Montana State Northern. University. What is it? Providence now.
Providence, yeah.
Providence. So we have some tough teams, but I think it prepares us well for the nationals. We're obviously the toughest team in our region. But with that being said, there are great athletes everywhere. But it definitely prepares us. I think it gives us a chance just to work out the kinks. And at this point in the season, where the kinks are pretty worked out.
Yeah.
But it just gives you a good test run for nationals.
Absolutely. Lumping both the men's and the women's team together here into this question because they're competing at nationals this weekend in Oklahoma City. Shout out to the women's team. Good luck. How are this year's Menlo teams set to transcend what you guys did last year?
It's a much different culture, especially on the men's team. I can't speak so much for the women's team, but I will say this: the women's team, I'm calling it now. They will have a national championship team within the next 5 years.
Oh,
no doubt about it. As early as next year, but. I think they could do it, but they will have a team because there are some killers in that room. And
why not this year?
They could do it this year. No, I think they could do it this year for sure. But they're going to be a dynasty in women's wrestling, I believe. Coach Brang does a really good job. He's a great coach, great technician, great guy.
Yeah.
And for the men's team, we had the addition of some guys. We had Anthony come in. We had Mikey. Shout out to the sniper. He's a tough guy. They're tough guys, and they're great additions to our team. I believe that, they brought something different. We already had a really good stock to begin with. We had, Joseph, who unfortunately got injured. We had a lot of guys, a lot of tough guys. But I believe that, we're on our way up. We're only going to get better from here.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely, with wholeheartedly believe that.
All right, Javi, let's get into the final segment of the show. It's called Brownie Bites. I'm going to ask you 3 random off-the-wall questions. You give me your best answers. Question number 1. Which teammate hates traveling the most?
Ooh, I would say Anthony Orozco. He, just say he gets a little grumpy on those long trips. He doesn't like sitting at the airport.
Or sitting on the plane.
No, could be a grump.
Yeah. Is he one of those people who's going to sleep during the flight, or?
I'm not sure. Honestly, I think so. I think we all kind of sleep 50% of the flight. The other 50% we just kind of talk or read, whatever.
I envy people who can just pass out on a plane right away. I can't.
Yeah.
It takes me a long time.
I can, but for some reason, I don't know what it is. I'm always bunched next to the worst possible people. And I'm just in the middle of them, oh, dang it, just overflowing. It's always a terrible arrangement for me. And even this last flight, I was stuck in between 2 lightweights. And it's just me. I'm how did I get stuck in the middle?
Yeah, how am I in the middle seat of this bunch? That makes no sense. So you might as well get cuddled up next to the person and get ready for the long flight.
Yeah, that's kind of what. Last time I think I was next to Coach Varnell, and I was like, Coach, we're gonna get real close here in this trip. So
nothing personal, but everything personal.
Exactly.
All right, question number 2. Which teammate would make the worst astronaut?
Ooh, I'd have to say, this is a good question. I'd have to say Tyler Noon.
Why?
Well, as much as Tyler wouldn't want us to believe, he's a very social creature. And I know he'd get lonely up there. And Tyler, just like LL Cool J said, he just needs love. That's all. Nothing wrong with that, So
I'm not even going to try to offer any input on that one.
Well, I mean, hey man, we're we need someone there, and Tyler just a little more than others.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough, Tyler. Well, so I guess this next question kind of is on the same thing. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day a little bit since it's coming up. Which teammate is most likely to take advantage of discounted Valentine's Day candy?
Oh boy, this is kind of an easy one. I'd say Jeremiah Holbrook and Ian Poling. Both of them. They're both upper weight comrades, heavyweights, just like me. And they've been known to fancy a good chocolate, discounted chocolate.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I, too, enjoy discounted chocolate.
I was going to say, are you going to be going to make the Target run with them?
Of course. That goes without saying. But I do enjoy some good chocolate.
Who doesn't?
I don't know.
Unless you're allergic to chocolate, of course.
And even then.
You still got to like chocolate.
Go ahead and take a chocolate.
I will be right there with you when you're making that Target run because you better believe it, I'm going to want to go very hard on that Valentine's Day.
Tremendous. I'll save a seat for you.
Absolutely. I call shotgun.
Of course.
I don't care who's driving. I'm a shotgun.
I'll drive. Your shotgun. Jeremiah will be in the back. Ian will be next to him. And probably my girlfriend, Marilyn. She, too, enjoys... I don't know about chocolate, but she likes candy.
She can take shotgun, then. I'll be respectful.
Oh, shit.
Put her up front.
You're
Strap me to the roof. I don't care. I just want to get to Target,
You got to see. We'll put Jeremiah on the roof. Oh, no, we'll put Ian on the roof. Yeah, we'll put Ian on the roof.
Well, he does have a nice-looking mustache, so...
There's been comparisons between you two.
Oh, no.
Someone was like, hey, they sent me a snap of you. They're like, dude, Ian's commentating now? I was like, oh.
Well, if I put on maybe, I don't know, 70 pounds or so, then I could get to that level, maybe.
How much you weigh?
I'm at about 190.
It's less than 70 pounds, bro. It's like...
I don't know how much he is.
30, 40 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, man.
Sorry, Ian. My apologies.
Ian's not sensitive. He's good.
Okay, so you put in a little extra weight on me. And then,
a little, yeah. It's mostly guns, though. He's just got...
we got a ways to go.
Tremendous biceps. Have you seen his biceps?
I have not.
He's pretty jacked.
I'll try to find him Thursday at the duel.
Cool. He'll give you some tips.
Yeah, like, hey, how do you get the arms? I want to get to the gun show, baby.
Of course.
All right, this is getting way off track. Javi, thank you so much for joining me on the show. I appreciate it. Folks, the Menlo College men's wrestling team wraps up their season at home this weekend. They have a duel against San Francisco State. It is Thursday night, 7 o'clock, inside Haynes Prim Pavilion. If you can't make it out, I will be on the broadcast live on the Menlo College Sports Network. Also, a shout out to the Menlo College women's wrestling team. They are competing at Nationals this weekend, Friday and Saturday in Oklahoma City, the WCWA National Tournament 2-day event to wrap up their season. Well, Javier is the last interviewee by me, Brian Brownfield, right here on Unrooted Wrestling Edition. So stay tuned. Starting next week, spring sports roll out. Baseball and softball will be featured next week, along with men's volleyball already in season, and track and field and golf will be sprinkled in as well. So we'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
See you later.
I am the powers that be. I am Christ crucified on the tree.